Hello everyone, this is John Marshall, the DrillMaster, with another video critique. This is Flannigan Rifles from Marmion Academy. I can't wait to see it. I've purposefully not watched it because I want to have the reactions as it's happening. This is going to be great. So, and I know now that I've switched over to my laptop, my screen's a little lower, but I'm using the an outside camera. So the camera's a little high, but the screen's low. So my eye level is constantly down, and I apologize for that. I'll see what I can do eventually, but at least for now, I'm going to have to deal with that. So anyway, and let me say again, I'll be using the World Drill Association adjudication standards and the adjudication program that I developed several years ago. So, and look down below as well in the comments. I have a brand new layout there with all kinds of neat links to all kinds of great stuff. So, and I'm going to add more as well because I'm getting sponsorship, and this is developing. It's slow but sure. Oh, and also look up there in the corner. It doesn't say podcast anymore. It says video critique, because really this is not necessarily the podcast that I envisioned yet. I'm still working on that. It's coming. So before I start the video, I just wanted to mention here. I'll move my cursor over. Okay, yes, I'm still recording, thankfully. All right, look at this, though. Look at the feet. Look at these awesome feet. Look at the step size. Look at the step technique here. Almost no phasing whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. And for those of you who don't know, phasing is when you're in step, but say your right foot hits the deck, hits the marching surface a little bit early or a little bit later after the tempo. So that's phasing when, and phasing can be for any movement, but feet is using it with the feet is a good example. So, and like I said, any movement can have phasing in it. So if you're moving from right shoulder to port, and your rifle hits the left after coming out of shoulder, if your rifle hits either a little bit before or a little bit after, that's phasing. So we try and keep that tempo to where the heel strikes the marching surface at exactly the same time. So this is just fantastic. And then we have a commander here with an Academy sword. That's awesome. I think this is just great. And also, before I start, this is Marmion Academy. This is where my college buddy, my college friend from New Mexico Military Institute taught, Constantine, and he developed some pretty neat stuff during his time. So, but we'll all get to see him later on in glory. All right, so let's start this. So flanking movements, not necessarily the... All right, I didn't expect flanking movements at all. I expected you to perform in... This is Flannigan Rifles. This is, the name says it all to those who know in the exhibition drill, the military drill world. This is something that, now if you go back to my this is Flannigan Rifles 2019. So go back to my other video that I critiqued yesterday, and you'll be watching this in years to come. But I critiqued John Jay. So notice they have an opening statement and they perform in, and it's performance, performance, performance. This isn't performance, performance, performance. This is march in and get set up for the performance. So you're already supposed to be performing. You're already on deck. This is where you need to make it happen. All right. So, and this is regulation drill, but I'll make the comment here. The platoon stopped and then started marking time. That's not the Army technique. So if you're using that in regulation drill, don't do that. But it's the Marine Corps technique, and it looks so much better. So in regulation drill, fine. It looks better, so definitely keep it. And also having the team mark time. I mean, this is a regulation drill entrance. I expected so much more. I'm still thrilled to be critiquing this. Don't get me wrong. It's a great opportunity for me. I love critiquing drill. Honestly, I absolutely love critiquing drill. So the team sped up for that mark time. And so maybe this is regulation drill. Maybe this is maybe this is not an exhibition performance. Excellent technique, Commander. Very good. Oh, okay. So it is the regulation drill sequence. Fine. All right. So what I said earlier, then just forget about the entrance. You had to do that for the entrance. I get it. That's no problem. But what I said earlier about the marking time, don't do that anymore. You mark time, march, and then you bring that foot up, and then start marking time. You can't do that. That's not an Army technique. Army and Air Force do it differently from the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard. It's unfortunate, but that's what we do. So you're not authorized to do that. Not bad, Commander. Not bad at all. Slight phasing on that hand drop. Good. Good job. You should have checked alignment earlier there, drill instructor. Hands all up here. I'll just show this. Look, see how the fingers are wrapped around. Fingers are wrapped around the upper hand guard, and the index finger then has slid up. The whole hand has slid up underneath the stacking swivel. Very well done. Now, what's the distance between heels for parade rest for the Army? Anyone? 10 inches. All right, so make sure that everybody is at 10 inches. Now, it looks to me that you're probably there at the 10-inch mark. Whether or not you are, I really can't tell. However, what I can see is that everyone is consistent for that parade rest foot spread there. Good. Now, also, I want to point out here, notice, and sometimes rifles have a tendency to move forward as you manipulate them, but all three toes here, can you see my cursor? Yeah, okay. So all three toes should be aligned. That's the toe of each of the feet, and then also the toe of the butt of the rifle. All in line. The rifle should be grounded up against the right shoe. Now, here you can see sometimes it has a tendency to move forward, but you have to guard against that. So at this level, we want this to be absolutely perfect. So this is a technique. Now, whether this cadet graduated or not, it is neither here nor there. This is for everybody else who's paying attention to this. You need to make sure that your rifle doesn't move forward. You can hold it in a certain manner to where it doesn't move forward. So it just takes a lot of practice. All right, but notice here that he is resting. Actually, it looks like everybody has pulled it back. Good. So the rifle is supposed to rest on not the butt is not supposed to be flat. All right, the butt is actually supposed to be rocked back a little bit. If this is the marching surface and then this is the butt of the rifle is only supposed to rest on the marching surface on the heel. So you're supposed to rock the rifle back, not pull it back, but rock it back so that the butt the toe of the butt the toe of the butt actually raises off the marching surface. So very good technique here, as far as I can see from this angle. So nicely done. Now you might think, wow, that was too fast. Actually, no, you go at 120. And I'm not a fan of the manual of arms at 120, but that's the cadence that the Army has set. And if you look through here, you can see there's a little bit of phasing. Not much, but you can see hands are just a hair late in a couple of places. And I'm going to point him out again. He was late, and then there was also a hand over here and maybe a hand over here somewhere. But this cadet, unfortunately, his left hand movement, cutting away from right shoulder, and then also cutting away from order as he was coming down from order. Both those hand cuts to the left side were slower. I mean, just ever so slightly slower. But then again, you have to realize that movement like this, especially at this speed, but movement like this is really going to stick out if you are a little bit fast or a little bit slow. So there's kind of an argument for this facing movement here. I'll go back. So what they did is the initiation of the movement, perfect, absolutely perfect. But notice here, this rifle has swung way out, and so has this one actually. The second squad leader, and then second rank first squad. The rifle has swung way out, so you don't want to have that rifle do that. You want to, on the command face, you're going to pick the rifle up and have your feet turn. If this is my right foot and this is the rifle, then I'm going to pick the rifle up and set it down. All right? You pick the rifle up on the first count, you set it down on the second count. Now, what the team here has done is set the rifle down on a third count. Now, is it explained to the nth degree in the training circular? No. However, at least you didn't lift the rifle up on the preparatory command. That is no way. Shouldn't do that at all. So what I'm going to say here is at least be consistent with the rifle. So you're lifting, but you need to lift it and bring it over to your new direction that you're facing, in this case, right face. So lift the rifle over and place it down. Don't have the right foot either, or the right leg even, push that rifle out, which is possibly what happened with these two. And then you're only supposed to lift it as much as needed to clear the marching surface. Good job. Nicely done. Now, let me go back just a hair here before the TI got in the way. There. All right, so notice knuckle angles. Good. Well, this one, it looks like this cadet here might have his left hand forward of centered on the thigh. So remember, you have to have your thumb then centered. You're supposed to have a neutral wrist, but your fingers are going to form a natural angle up. Or angle down, whichever way you want to view it. Your thumb and your index finger are going to be the lowest portion, and then the pinky is going to be the highest. So here's that natural angle right here, but not here. So here we have, this is not Army standard. So what you have to do then is make sure that everybody has that angle to their fist when at attention. One of the most difficult things to do. Good job, Commander. I think. Let's go back again. Yep, good job, Commander. Very, very well done. One of the hardest things to do is to meter these steps so that you have the same distance between squads when you close and then when you open back up again. It is very difficult, takes a lot of practice, but the team has done an excellent job here. And see, this is also a big problem with the judging system. All the judges are looking down because they have to mark for every single one of these moves, and it's not good. And it doesn't matter who's created the judging sheets. I won't even call it a judging system. There really is no system out there. And the system that I created has been used for decades in Drum Corps International, Winter Guard International, Bands of America, local band associations, marching bands, high school marching bands, and I've taken all that training, all that information, and put it through the military filter so that you can keep your eyes on the team, which is what you're supposed to do throughout the entire performance, not constantly look at the sheet. All right, let's go back here. That left face needs work, it looks like. All right, one more time. No, it doesn't. Not bad. Now, usually what you're going to see is the rifle breaking vertical and then swinging around, but everybody lifted and placed, so well done, boy. And you know that a left face can be quite difficult, but that was well done, team. Excellent job. So looking again at the hands, yep, we have angles, except here and here. Now, obviously, everybody's fingers are different. Even mine are. You can see that my middle finger there it actually sticks out a little bit more. Everybody's hands are different, and I understand that. I get that. However, what you want to do then for competitive drill, for regular marching in the military, nobody's really going to care about this, but when you get into competitive drill, absolutely it matters. It matters a great deal. So you want to make sure that you are exactly the same all throughout, every single position. A little bit too long on the trouser legs here. All right. All right. So here, with that side step, watch the feet. The feet are only supposed to be lifted high enough to clear the ground. But here we have imaginary logs being stepped over. So just high enough to clear the ground, and you're not supposed to make any sound with dragging a foot or when you place the first foot or the lead foot, I should say. So yeah, there is a little bit of on the left face there. There is a little bit of a breaking vertical. So the rifle really shouldn't break vertical. It should be lifted and placed. Lifted over to the area and then placed. The team is doing an unbelievable job in precision, but that rifle breaking vertical is a slight issue. Yeah, and so we have several different techniques here on that right step, and we shouldn't have. So what you're going to do is not leave the rifle on the foot so that it looks like this, which is exactly what this cadet looked like. You're going to lift the rifle up so that your right foot can pass underneath it, and then when you're finished, place it down. Could you see that? Yeah. So yeah, lift that rifle up. Pass under the foot barely passes underneath it. So let's see that again. You can watch the rifles here. There's different techniques. See, he's actually, if you watched this, it doesn't look good at all with the keeping the rifle at the foot. But here he actually held the rifle away from his foot. So you have different techniques going on, and you have to be exactly the same. About face armed really sucks, but you did an excellent job. So let's look at that right shoulder again. So make sure that those left elbows are tucked. No flares. There's absolutely no reason to have that left elbow come out at all, really. No flare at all. Okay, got a step technique issue there. So this cadet right here brought his foot up and then smacked that heel in. And that's actually a technique that, at least when I went through Air Force Basic, and actually even when I was a cadet going through basic military camp in Kentucky for the Army, we dug our heels in to get that heel beat, it was called, so that we could stay in step easier. And then those of us who know how to march weren't doing that, and so that causes problems. But this is definitely not a technique that you want to use, where you lift the foot up beyond where you need to and then smack it into the marching surface. Definitely not. Because it's a different step technique from the rest of the team. What you should be doing is there should be no heel beat, really. There should just be the sound of your foot coming forward, touching or striking the marching surface, rolling forward, the other foot coming, not the strike like this, but it's just like walking at attention. Yeah, there's a couple of cadets doing that, and it's a completely different step technique. And here on the column right, the team is so either the spacing is incorrect here because he's having to really run around, or maybe first squad took off a little bit. I'm not sure exactly, but you could see the toe strike is happening. There's a toe strike happening for half step after the column movement is executed. And Army doesn't toe strike. Army and Air Force don't toe strike on half step. It's a heel strike on half step. Half step is just half of the normal step. And then also look at this, now that I backed it up here, look at this enormous backswing on the for this cadet with the left hand, and look at here, very 9 to the front, 6 to the rear. This is like probably 150 to the front and 75 to the rear. So this is really a very exaggerated move, and it's possible that adrenaline starts pumping when you get into competition. You've got drill instructors, you've got a training instructor, you've got a drill sergeant, all looking at you and burning their retinas into your body in different places just to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Just leave all that out. It doesn't matter. What you need to do is practice the exact same way that you're going to perform. When you do that, then the pressure doesn't matter. So when you have an elevated heart rate and you've got that adrenaline going, you're still going to do exactly what you did the day before or even that morning when you were practicing, and how you've been practicing all along throughout the whole school year. So try not to let that get to you. So watch the toe strike here. See, we have a toe strike and even a full foot strike in some of the cadets. So it has to be a heel strike. Now you can see it a little bit better here. So, Commander, make sure you're 3 steps all the time. Good, over the right shoulder. So, actually, you're not supposed to turn your head towards the platoon when you're calling commands. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be straightforward the whole time. Now, when you're marching away from the platoon, that's when you turn, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do. So, if you're calling any command that doesn't require a position change, it's to the right. When you're going to march to the left, you call over the left. When you're going to march to the right, as you did here with the right flank, then you're going to call it over the right shoulder. So well done there, but you need to maintain that head forward. Spacing and alignment. Good job. Very good. That face in march for a column from also well done. At least it looked like it. The face in march that you have to execute from executing a column movement from. All right. So from a halt. So here I'm going to go and watch this. Watch right here. Watch those feet. So not bad. So what you don't want is it's not bad. The technique looks to be the same throughout, but rear march, you're supposed to stay in line. The Air Force is the only one that brings the feet together and in line. So you're supposed to stay right where you are, right where you're marching, and turn that way. It crosses the legs. It's not all that great, but what the team is doing now is crossing over, bringing the left over the right foot, which is not the Army technique. It's very well executed. And also, don't give that exaggerated foot slam there. Just halt. Just halt normally. There's no greater precision comes from a louder foot from a louder halt. I'll just put it that way. Precision has no bearing on that at all. Excellent precision, guys. So here, if you look at 3rd Squad Leader stepping over imaginary logs. They're small, but he's stepping over imaginary logs. See, entirely different step technique. Well done, boy. Excellent job. Spacing looks consistent throughout. So if you now you're increasing the tempo when you go into mark time. You did that when you first came in for the report in. Now look at the rifles though. This is what I was going to say earlier. There should only be a 4-inch distance between the rifle and the torso here. And also look how there's a slight angle to this rifle. Look at that. See how it's twisted along the Z axis? Axis, not access. What am I talking about? But we have thumbs wrapped. That's excellent. Look at that. Thumbs wrapped around the small of the stock, not pointed. See, thumbs wrapped around here. Pinky is at the silver, the silver part, or just the beginning there of the upper receiver. So really great positioning on most of the rifles as far as we're concerned here. But the rotation out and also the distance from the body, that's not consistent. So, but still, I mean, this is great alignment. It's just the distance is much too great for everybody. Everybody's consistent, which is good, but everybody still needs to bring that rifle in at least a couple of inches here. All right, so I'm going to go back just a little bit here. I know I'm making the video longer. And also it's just a teeny tiny slight pause making that flank movement for first squad here as you come up, and just tiny little pause and get that precision in there. That's not the technique. Yeah, it might look a little bit sharper. Yeah, I know where you're performing, but it's not Army technique. It's just precision doesn't have to fall outside of the guidance of the training circular. Well done. Oh, let me see, Commander, did you execute that properly? Yes, you did. Look at that. With the sword across your body. Awesome. Good job. Well done, Commander. Marking time there and then taking off as soon as your position was, the centered portion of the platoon came up. Nicely done. Good arm swing here as well. On the pivots, the Army doesn't pin the arms. So, and it's something I just noticed here. You're pinning your arms, especially on this rear march. Watch. You're pinning. And the only service that pins their arms is the Air Force. So don't pin your arms. I actually prefer it. And it's not just because I'm Air Force. It's and I learned it that way. I like it because of that, but also I think it looks much sharper. But it's not Army technique. It's not Marine Corps, Navy, Coast Guard technique either. The arms swing through the movement. Whether you're flanking, whether you're executing rear march, the arms still swing through that movement. So you don't pin, pivot, and then swing again. Good. Oh, actually, no. Good execution, but Commander, you got to swing your right arm. Yeah. And you, oh, interesting. So I have my Navy sword here. I just don't have. If I had my other camera set up, but I can't do it with this. All right, so I'll just talk you through it. Army and Air Force, we swing our salute arm, and I don't like it necessarily, but that's what we do. So also, you're bringing your sword out like this, and there. You're bringing your sword kind of out like this here, and you shouldn't. The sword should be straight in front of you, and I'll just ruin everything just having a sword. So what you're going to do is say, eyes right, and you're going to bring that sword straight down to your side, but you're going to swing the arm so that the sword looks like this. It moves back and forth at that exact same angle. It doesn't move up and back with the arm swing. You actually, it's kind of like vacuuming. Hopefully you vacuum at home. You move back and forth like this. Now, you're not going to bend your elbow, but I hope you get the technique here. So you have to swing that right arm. That's the Army technique. Good. Ready front called on the left, and you executed it very well, Commander. But you've got to swing that great exchange, too. Rifle angles all are consistent. Everybody has a straight rifle going right back. Well done. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you come to this portion, that's this left flank, and you're marching straight for the judge, this is the perfect time to screw it up unless you know the technique. So what you're going to do, and this is for anybody who doesn't know, so the commander's right here, and then you have the first squad, second rank, and then first squad, third rank. You're going to make a little triangle between the three of you. So those two people behind the commander are going to triangulate off the commander, and they're going to stay exactly wherever the commander goes. If the commander starts to veer off to the left, you're going to start to veer off to the left or to the right, whichever. And then everybody is going to, the first squad then is going to dress center towards these two people who are now centered off of, triangulated off of the commander. And then everybody else is going to dress center on just those two people in their squad. And that's how you stay centered all the way forward. The commander doesn't go off on his own. You make sure that the whole platoon stays centered exactly on that commander. Good. Seemed to be a little bit of a speed up there. And look at that. You barely need to even dress. That's great. That shows tons of training. So what I saw earlier, I thought you were pointing the sword forward. You have to point the sword forward, Commander. It does not come out to the side. That's foreign national stuff. They do that. You can do that in exhibition drill. Not here. Not regulation drill. Straight up and then straight down. As you come down, the sword points straight forward, 45-degree angle, period. So see the heel strike there, and also a whole foot. You can what I was talking about earlier. So I'm sorry, toe strikes. Here's a whole foot strike right here. Third squad, second rank, whole foot strike. So the technique is totally different. And that slight little pause, that's not the technique for flanking. So I'm just absolutely thrilled with the performance. Really, really well done. Very precise, except there are systemic problems here throughout with that foot slam, with the slight pause in the flank, holding the rifle out a little bit too far. But holy cow, what a precise performance. Man, at this level, it is extremely difficult to judge regulation drill performances. It's obviously it can be done, but it gets to be very, very difficult. And that's a good thing for judges. It really is, especially trained judges, which we really don't have any. Anyway, the performance was just outstanding, really well done, and I'm so pleased for Marmion for that great performance. And I hope my comments have been helpful. Any questions, please let me know. And if you have the exhibition drill performance, then point me to it. I'd love to see that as well. And anybody else, if you really want me to critique your performance, and it doesn't matter from when it is, even if it's a couple of years old, doesn't matter. Everybody can learn something from another team's performance. So well done, Marmion. Well done, Flannigan Rifles. That's something very special. All right. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.